I'm reading Stella the Stork's Special Delivery. Stella used to work for the Express Stork Delivery Service, and then one day, to her surprise, she was called out of retirement to make a special delivery in Bethlehem. Stella the Stork's Special Delivery, written by Holland. Illustrations by Jane Beach, with artistic contribution by Lottie Taylor. Stella the Stork's Special Delivery. Stella was a legend in the Express Stork Delivery Service. She had delivered more babies than any other stork ever. Now that she was retired, she was very surprised when Matron clambered onto her nest carrying a small bundle in her beak. "Oh, Stella dear," said Matron, "I've just had a visit from the strangest bird." It looked human, but it was shimmering white, with the most wonderful wings. I asked it, most politely of course, what it was. It said it was an angel bird. They've asked us to deliver a baby boy to a place called Bethlehem. How are the wings these days, dear? I hate to ask you, but everyone else is out. I promised the baby would be delivered on the 25th of December. Secretly, Stella was very pleased. She had always kept the badge on her hat polished and exercised her wings daily, hoping one day there'd be an emergency. As if doing a big favour, she said, "Oh, if there's no one else, I suppose I'll have to. What's the address?" Matron took the delivery list out from underneath her wing. All it says is baby number 01AD to be delivered to Mary and Joseph. The stable, Bethlehem. Oh, there's a PS. Follow the Eastern Star. Huh? Stella snorted. Let's hope there are signposts. Hiding her excitement, she pulled a pair of red stockings over her knobbly old red legs, put on her cap and slipped the baby's hammock into her beak. "Don't forget to get a receipt," said Matron, handing her a piece of paper. With a wobble and a flap of wings, Stella launched herself into the air. It was so good to be back in commission again. Towards dawn, Stella found herself over an oasis in the desert where 3 camels were drinking at a pool. She landed gently and took a long drink of water. The 3 camels blinked at her through long lashes. "What are you doing here?" one burped. "What's your name?" spat another. "I don't think we've invited you to join us, did we?" drawled the third. Stella stood to attention. "I'm Stella of the Express Stork Delivery Service, on a special mission to Bethlehem." "Oh, boring Bethlehem, that's where we're going. Our 3 kings are delivering presents to a new baby king. What are you carrying?" "Just a little baby." "Smelly things, babies," sniffed one of the camels, and with that they turned away. "Here, hang on a minute," said Stella. "Just where is Bethlehem?" They ignored her. Silly things, thought Stella crossly. She flew on. The bright eastern star still seemed far away. When she saw a campfire glowing in the night, Stella descended towards it. She landed and found herself surrounded by sheep. "Excuse me," said Stella. "Excuse me," she said louder. "I'm looking for Bethlehem." "Ba, ba," replied one sheep. "It's over the hill. That's where our shepherds have gone, following the bright light that is keeping us awake. Do you think you could turn it off? Bah, bah. Stella was so tired she could hardly stand. She was on the verge of tears. Perhaps she was too old, just a silly, vain old bird. This will never do, she admonished herself. She knew her journey was very special. All at once a bright light surrounded Stella. She looked up to find what could only be angel birds around her. "We are your escort to Bethlehem, Stella," they said. As Stella was lifted into the skies, they became full of angel birds, encouraging her on. Soon the lights of Bethlehem appeared. As Stella was guided to the ground, the chimes of midnight struck. It was December the 25th. She was led to a stable. The place was packed. A young woman lay on a straw pallet, her husband wiping her brow. She looked very tired. Stella stopped, took a deep breath and marched in. She saluted and said, "I'm Stella of the Express Stork Delivery Service, called out of retirement for a special commission. I have a first-class special delivery for you, Mary and Joseph?" Joseph helped his young wife to sit up. She held out her arms and took the baby. At that moment, it felt as if all the love in the world had blown into the stable. Stella blinked away a tear. Angel birds clapped and cheered, played their harps and blew their horns. The donkeys and oxen in their stalls brayed and bellowed. The lambs bleated and bells rang. It was a right old hullabaloo. The baby was placed in a small cattle trough. Stella was allowed to perch on the edge. She felt so proud. He was given so many presents. She wanted to give him a present too. Taking off her cap, she removed the badge and placed it on his straw pillow. A circle of light surrounded the baby's head, as if the light from a lantern reflected on its shiny surface. He raised his little arms and brushed her old knobbly legs with his fingertips. They parted all night long. Stella hadn't had so much fun in years. Visitors just kept on coming, and amongst them were the three kings, who had to join the queue like everyone else. "Time to go home," said the brightest angel bird. "You've a long journey ahead." Stella, who would never have admitted it, was worn out. She fumbled beneath her wings and brought out the receipt to be signed. Mary stroked the old bird's feathers and whispered, "Thank you, Stella." And with great ceremony she was escorted to the door. Outside, the three camels were tethered to a tree. They blinked in amazement when they recognised Stella. She stuck her beak in the air, ignoring them. The angel birds took her high into the sky, and it seemed no time at all before she could see her own home. There were storks everywhere. News had spread of Stella's epic journey. They had all gathered to welcome her. The angel birds guided Stella to the edge of her nest and then vanished. Stella thoroughly enjoyed being the centre of attention. How they all rocked with laughter when they heard about the camels not being allowed in the stable. Matron, who could be very bossy, decided that it was time for Stella to rest and shooed everyone away. As she fussed around making a nice cup of acorn tea, Stella pulled off her red stockings and her eyes nearly popped out of her head. Surely these weren't her legs. These were the supple, smooth legs of a young stork. Matron's eyes popped too. "It must have been all that flying, dear. You weren't getting enough exercise. It's unblocked your veins. Stella sipped her acorn tea. She thought of the baby's touch and knew better. The end.